So, no.
Okay.
Oh, I gotta go feed.
And Doug.
Hello and welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. I'm Nerdarchy Steve, and as usual, I am joined by this lovely group of nerds. We got our staff writers in the house, Robin Miller, as well as Stephen Partridge. You can find links in the descriptions to the written works, not on Nerdarchy, but on Amazon. You should go buy their books for sure. We've got content director Nerder Doug in the house as well, and you probably recognize Nerdarchist Ted. So this is most likely going to be the last episode of Moon Rises. So we'll see if our players survive, if they're able to save New Manhattan or not. What happens? Who knows? I'm kind of curious myself. So with that, we'll go into the kind of the preamble of kind of what happened last. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
I'll go.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I don't remember where exactly my notes picked up and left off, but I believe we started with Goggles and Grig cascading through Pink World, which we've come to call the psionic constructed world that the Griznor were from and lived inside the crystals and Goggles suit.
Very concise, naming of the world.
Because everything was sort of like a pink Green Lantern-esque construct is how we sort of imagined it. And we summoned the essences of red and blue to join us on an adventure where we essentially evacuated the souls of the Griznor, and they now reside in the crystals that are growing around the town that we're in, is how I can best summarize it. And then we took a boat to Podunk, New Jersey, and I'll leave the rest for everybody else to go.
All right, jump in there, Robin.
Okay. Did you mention that the ship was called the Vesper?
No.
Okay, the ship was called the Vesper. That's my thing. I remembered that.
So when Goggles and Grig had summoned the essences of red and blue, they each got to describe how their character perceived red and blue. So I'll let Stephen describe how he imagined red, but Grig envisioned blue as far more cerebral than I think he should be, but it's all about perception. So it was definitely like more brainy, and you could see all of like his nervous system in action.
I think it was less brainy, and he just could see your nervous system.
He considers blue to be quite brilliant.
So it was a cool scenario that we got to go, do some fun things, rescue the Griznor. There was definitely some conversation as to whether we were actually traveling back in time, whether the actions we were doing would make a change or not. But I thought it was definitely, or Blue thought it was definitely awesome to try our best and do everything we can. So it was like a moment of craziness where Blue assaulted one of the guards to take his megaphone, which wound up being like this like psionic little device, and he just starts screaming, "We're all gonna die, get on the ship now." Total chaos, total craziness. Somebody, and I apologize that I don't remember who, but somebody thought, oh, well, what if we put them in their dormant state because they couldn't all fit on the ship? So like they went down into crystal form so we could get even more people onto the ship, which meant more souls were rescued. That was just, fabulous.
Yeah, so we did all that. Robin was super buff and had like World of Warcraft proportioned hook swords because, my gosh. Also, if she wore shoulder pads, those would totally have been a thing too. And we ended up saving a bunch of the Griznor. We weren't sure if it was a time travel situation or a psionic mind projection situation, or maybe some weird mishmash combination of the both. I mean, we're basing this on like 80s cartoons, so it's entirely possible that pulp 80s cartoon nonsense was happening. So we ended up making that electromagnet. We saved a bunch of Griznor by making them dormant, and we just had like a pile of crystals in the back. Then we drove the ship out, and we ended up getting back to the area where the Griznor then projected themselves into these crystals. in the Psionic City. So now they have a place to reside and they have other people they can communicate with, which is super cool. And we ended up gathering up all of our things and having some talks about what we planned on doing. We felt like we had accomplished our mission, which was to get information on Morena. We found out she definitely does magic because psionic stone people, terrifying, yes, no. And we found out that she also projects herself from being scryed upon. And we felt like that was enough information to go off of to confirm the threat that she was. So we are now trying to beat her back to New Manhattan with enough time to warn Unik and assemble some sort of proper force. So that's where we're headed. We went on a ship with the Vesper. Lilac is with us, and we are now getting back to New Manhattan.
No mention of Lucky. Poor Lucky.
Lucky.
No, not Lucky. Happy. Yeah.
Oh
Happy.
yeah, that's
Oh
right.
yeah, Happy the fish.
Yes.
There was also the crystal fish that Blue got. Blue got a psionic crystal fish named Happy. Who was like one of the Giznor, maybe?
So I apologize for not bringing that up, even though there's a section of my sheet that now says that, or that has said that since last week. So many episodes ago, we had found these crystals, and some of them were alive, some of them weren't. Blue picked one up. He's definitely got that, shiny. So he picks stuff up all the time. He picked up, this crystal, not knowing it was alive, and this one happened to not be alive, but he'd been carrying it ever since. So after the rescue from, planet Giznor, he pulled out this crystal because all the other crystals are now doing something, and this thing wound up transforming into, a flying, crystalline, red and pink crystalline koi fish.
Should meet Captain Meatball. See what happens when those two.
Oh no, that can't be good. Fish and cats don't go together. Well, they can for a while until the cat gets bored or hungry.
But if they're both,
here's to you, Captain Meatball.
If they're both part crystal Giznor, perhaps something even odder will happen.
Only time will tell. Maybe we have one session to figure that out.
Yeah,
and save New Manhattan.
I just want to see like a Steven Universe style fusion where they turn into a catfish.
Season 2, Plat.
Quest for the catfish.
Spoiler alert.
So you guys see a familiar sight as the Vesper comes sailing on up to the port, to the docks here in New Manhattan. You see the Chug-a-Lug is docked.
The Chug-a-Lug's there? I never thought I'd be so happy to see the greatest city on earth in total ruins.
And with that, the Vesper lands, and your captain, as Zylak, bids you farewell, and he's going to return back to his settlement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just like a little. It was barely even a settlement, right?
Yeah. It's like 5 families that staked out a piece of land and have been making it work. It didn't even have a name. I think we just decided to call it Podunk.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Red had went and carved a sign.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And put it up, so it was named Podunk.
Yeah.
The people of Podunk are depending on us now, and the people of New Manhattan.
For sure. So with that, you guys disembark. What do you want to do? Where are you going? What's on your radar here?
So Blue is certainly distracted. There's so many different directions that he could go at the moment. So he's like you could see that he's half paying attention to the conversation that I'm assuming is about to start. But he is looking wistfully at the town, the city.
Oh, your people are here. Didn't they come on the Chug-a-Lug?
They did.
Yeah, they did.
Well, we should see if they're okay, if they got here safely. I mean,
I can only imagine that they did, but we could do that, or we could see about getting Lilac settled in, or we could go talk to Unik, and we could trying to find something good to eat, and he just starts rambling a list of all the different things that could be done.
So, upon your arrival, you know that you've got about 3 days, but before the army arrives and the moon rises.
Oh boy. Well, I think considering we have 3 days, sparing a few minutes to see if your family's okay is certainly worth it. I mean, if not, then what are we doing all this for anyway, right?
That's true. I just didn't want to put, my kin above, and he just stretches his arms out as wide as he can, for the whole city.
Nonsense, Blue. I'll hold out my hand for him to jump up on my shoulder, sort of gesture. And then if you do, I will far step over to the Chug-a-Lug with post haste to talk to, I forget his name. Old Salty Dog? Was that the cat?
Old Salty Dog, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, so you startled the Old Salty Dog as he's like repairing some of the rigging and some of the
Ahoy, Captain! Permission
stuff.
to come aboard. I'll hover above the deck before actually landing.
Okay.
To get permission to come aboard. But right near awkward.
Yeah, come on, but don't do that again.
Aye, aye.
Sorry, ahoy, or however it's supposed to go. We just wanted to quick ask a question. Did my family get here okay?
As you ask the question and he goes to answer, you kind of get hit square in the back with something solid and hard. Give me a mic check. 3.
Me?
No, Blue.
Oh.
That was a lesser crit. It's a 19.
So you actually as you feel something collide into you, kind of like your danger senses kick in and you spin around on the ready to also see a cat that is as big as you are now spin and turn on you, and you hear the rumble of it. Sounds like a small diesel engine as it's purring.
All right, so what if you'll allow with the crit, I mean, if it's jumping up into the air high enough, because I'm on Grig, I totally want to I turn, I catch, and we roll, and I absorb the fall because I know how to fall without getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a tumble of fur and monkey cat.
Yeah, so Captain Meatball and Blue are a tangle of fur on the deck now, and he's doing the cat thing. He's marking you with his face, and his head is as big as yours at this point. And the Captain Meatball drools a little.
He's making biscuits.
Yeah.
Having a 20-pound cat that does that at home, I know what that's like.
Wow, 20-pounder.
Yeah.
Captain Meatball's probably like twice that.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine if he's as big as I am, it's massive.
Where is Happy?
I was just boner.
So I would imagine that Happy would have been with me. So flying next to me. I don't. Does this flight have a height restriction?
Nah, not really.
All right, so he's probably in the air next to Greg as I get tackled.
Yeah, so after that initial meeting, Captain Meatball sits down and looks up with great interest at Happy.
Now, Captain Meatball, that's a new friend. That is not for eating.
I watch intently.
It looks like someone is happy to see you there, Blue.
Well, Happy certainly is, and I'll point towards the flying fish. Happy, meet Captain Meatball, and meet Old Salty Dog. This is a new friend. These are all friends. Hi.
And the gem inside of Captain Meatball's chest, it is grown proportion to Captain Meatball.
So he's a lot bigger, Old Salty Dog. I apologize if the ramifications of my actions have caused you any kinds of issues.
I'm intensely curious if the ramifications of his actions have caused you any issues. Has anything strange happened?
There's definitely some strangeness that happens. Captain Meatball does things that he couldn't do before, but he's still Captain Meatball, and I love him anyway. And he kind of like tussles his head, but now Captain Meatball is really the size of a medium-sized dog, more so than a cat.
So was it like, has it been a steady change, or was there something about like 3 days ago that was big?
No, it's been gradually changing. Although he might have spiked 3 days ago. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, as big as he is, Captain Meatball just disappears sometimes and resurfaces.
Disappears from view?
Yeah, I just can't find him for a while, and then he just pops back out. I mean, he's always done that, but he wasn't always as big.
Right. Has he ever vanished
hiding myself
from your view while you were looking at him?
No, that would just be weird.
It would be weird.
Well, I mean, he just points at Captain Meatball.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so you guys kind of go through the motions of greeting each other and everything, and he lets you know that you're looking for your family. Their knowledge of growing things and plants has been super useful and helpful to the community, and they've kind of made themselves right at home between helping tend the gardens and going out on scavenging runs. Except for that one, he just insists on cooking everything he finds, and he puts things together that shouldn't go to. He's not very good either, but he tries, and he really loves to cook, and he's always bringing food around.
Oh, didn't know that my people were super into plants. That's cool. I like plants.
You're the resident plant expert.
Yeah, it appears all of your kin are born with green thumbs.
That's blue.
Well, old salty dog, I just can't thank you enough for all you've done for us, and I'll shake his hand if you'll hold out my hand.
Well, I mean, you've done a great service for the city, and went out on a super important mission, and you guys aren't dead, and you came back. That's really good.
It is really good.
Yeah,
some people even called us heroes.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, but we actually kind of mentally spoke with the marinara sauce lady. And
really?
Yeah, we gotta deliver some information in town. A couple of days till problems are gonna possibly happen, and lots of doom and gloom on the horizon.
I see. Well, then I won't keep you. And he gives you kind of like directions to some different spots where you can find different members of your family, your extended family.
Nice. All right. Well, let's rejoin. We'll take our leave of Old Salty Dog if you like, Ted.
So, we don't have to go through, each little, greeting unless you really want to. But I imagine we'll probably get, red and goggles and, go check in with all that needs, all that, can't talk. All the things that we need to check in on.
Right.
Yeah. So you guys, get off the ship and you depart, begin to depart in the docks to go and, you're able to go catch up with your family real quick. You find them, greet them, where they are. You're able to impart whatever information you want to. And then I guess at some point you're going to want to find Unik.
Indeed.
So, on your way there you kind of run into a short, chubby lady, also has lavender skin with indigo colored hair.
That's right.
And she's on the corner just yelling kind of crazy stuff. Like, they're going to get me again. They're going to come from the sky. They're going to carry me away. They're going to carry you away. The moon is coming. The moon is rising. We're all going to get captured and taken to the moon.
That sounds promising.
Does your name happen to be Bethany?
Yeah, that's what people call me. And then she kind of like grabs you by the shoulders and like looks really close in your face. And beware, they're going to come from the sky and they're going to carry us to the moon again.
It's okay. And I just give her a hug.
She hugs you back and whispers in your ear, I don't know if I'll be able to escape again.
Have you been to the moon?
Yes, the Daemons, they carried me away to the moon, but I managed to escape.
How did you manage to escape?
I don't know, but I woke up here in New Manhattan.
Now I understand.
Wonderful.
I've had some pretty crazy dreams. Are you sure it really happened?
Yeah, I can see it. I can still see it flying through the sky with their hard, cold talons wrapped underneath of my arms, my little feet dangling. My shoes, I lost a shoe. It fell. And the moon got bigger and bigger until we flew over the water and my feet dangled in the water. And a vast sea or lake towards a citadel at the center of it. And that's when they dropped me into the pit with the rest of the prisoners that they captured and flew there.
But you don't remember what happened after that?
I remember being scared and alone, except for there was people all around and they were dirty and scared. And they had this like look in their eyes. And then I curled up in a little ball and went to sleep. And then I woke up here in New Manhattan. Sometimes I end up back there too. And then I come back.
You end up back there?
Yeah.
Mrs. Batshit, may I call you Mrs. Do you go by Mrs. Batshit? Miss Bethany?
She kind of winces when you say that. Don't call me that. I don't like it when they call me that. I'm not crazy.
Oh, I'm.
And then she definitely looks at you with a crazy look.
I'm very sorry, Bethany. If you'd like, I could try to probe your thoughts and see if I can fill in those missing parts for you.
Are you just trying to prove I'm crazy?
No, I think I'm fascinated. I have an interest in the moon myself. And who knows, the means of escaping there might be locked away in your memory. It could help lots of people.
She kind of leans away from you and leans in the goggles. Do you think I can trust him?
Yeah, he's very, very trustworthy.
I trust him.
But he wants to go to the moon, so any information that you might have on it could really help him out.
I'd like to know how to get away from the moon too, if we find ourselves there.
I guess so. I guess I'll let you. What exactly do you want to try and do?
See if I can probe your thoughts and fill in the missing parts of your memory of how you got from there to here.
So what is the actual ability you're using?
Oh, mind reading. It's 4 intellect points, so it's pretty hefty cost. I can read the thoughts of a creature within short range. It says even if the target doesn't want you to, but I don't want to read somebody's thoughts without telling them. That seems rude. You must be able to see the target. Once you've established contact, you can read the target's thoughts for up to 1 minute. If you or the target move out of range, the connection is broken.
Okay, so you start.
I don't know if I will learn anything, but I will try.
So you start to do this, right? And the reflection.
And I'll try to be very gentle.
The reflection of Bethany's face kind of gets big on your dome, on your helmet, as you kind of gaze into her eyes and into her mind, and you see like all the things she talked about, and you feel her kind of like her experiencing them. Then you find something a little bit odd in there. There's like a tether, a string leading from Bethany up into the sky.
Whoa. Interesting. Is it like a silver cord sort of thing?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Interesting.
And you feel like a slight, pull towards it.
Well, if it's, I mean, until a minute elapses, I will allow it to pull me forward if I may.
So in the blink of an eye, you find yourself traversing the distance of this cord, and it takes you all the way to the moon, and everything is very blurry around you. You can't see very far away from this cord. But when you get to the moon, like you can see like around you where everything is all this white pale rock. You're taking over, the cord leads you over the body of water Bethany described towards the citadel into a hole in the ground where it connects to a young boy. And you know the boy's name's Micah. You don't know how you know. His skin is the color of ravenwing. He's got bright brown eyes that he kind of looks up in your direction, like looking through you, and thick curly hair. And he kind of just shudders. And then like the connection breaks and you're back in your body.
Whoa. Bethany, thank you. I don't know exactly what I saw. Do you remember seeing a young boy there? And I'll describe the, like what you described. I didn't catch all the details. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. We lived in the same place a long time ago, and he was also carried away by the daemons, but he didn't escape like I did.
Are you from Deadfall Downs?
No, I'm from a place that doesn't exist anymore. Like when the daemons came, they took so many of us away. But I was able to make it back here somehow.
Well, Bethany, I don't think you're crazy or bad shit or anything. In fact, I'm humbly grateful for you letting me read your mind.
And how do you know about the boy?
There's some sort of connection between you and him that I sense. He's still there, I presume.
Oh.
Did you have some sort of connection with him?
I mean, not that I know of. I haven't seen him since that day.
Interesting. I don't know what to make of it. I must confess, Bethany, but.
So the only other thing you remember is the boy was only wearing one shoe.
Oh, didn't she say her shoe was missing? I still don't. This could just be me as a player not understanding. I don't get it, but that is notable.
Could be a psychic, Bethany could be a psychic projection of Micah.
Oh my God. Does Blue, yeah, I mean, I don't want to not involve you guys. I mean, I would probably tell you what's going on, what I saw. Wow, I didn't even think of that, Blue.
Oh, well, I mean, we've done some crazy things that, involve traveling across, crazy places. I mean, didn't you and Goggles kind of imagine we were on the Giznor planet? We weren't really there, and I pat through my handful of pouches. I don't have that sonic resonance thingy, but I had it on the planet when I flew the ship home. Here,
she glares at Blue a little bit. I am not a mental projection thingy.
I'm sorry.
He only meant to convey that we've seen a lot of strange things since we were last here, Bethany. Like you.
See, yeah, she's definitely getting a more defensive. I am not strange. I am regular, like everybody else around here.
Look at the world around you. Everybody's strange, ma'am.
Maybe, but she still seems a little bit on the defensive side.
You've seen extraordinary things.
You're talking to a blue monkey with a pet flying fish, and you think something's normal?
Touché.
Well, I've never not seen a blue monkey with a pet flying fish.
I don't know how to take that.
You've got us there, Bethany.
And then she kind of begins wandering away, going back to her kind of spiel.
So I kind of like how try to get the group to huddle a little bit.
Sure.
Could you do that, mental whammy thing and make her forget?
I could, but I'm afraid it would turn her brain to jelly afterwards.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't want that.
No.
Why didn't it with her?
What's that? Oh, he was asking if I could erase her memories.
Oh, okay.
Reading them is a whole different resonance.
Marina, didn't she talk to us through Lilac at one point?
She did.
And so do you think maybe Lilac has a similar connection with Marina?
Just because they're both purple?
No, because it occurs to me if you can have a mental link with a person, Marina talked to us through her. At first, I thought it might just be like she was, cosmically looking at us and, chose her so she could talk to us. But if you can actually have like a maintained connection with somebody, I mean, maybe that's a thing.
Maybe we should bring Lilac with us to see Unik if he has roots in insert name of that town that I forget. Amzia? Is that it?
Yeah.
MZ, yeah.
Maybe he'll have an insight into what that could mean and how to deal with it. I'm stabbing of the glass die.
He might also be able to, help point us in the direction of where we might be able to set Lilac up with
Yes.
family or something.
Yes. Would you like to go see a big strapping leader type person, Lilac?
I guess so. I mean, this place is really big. I've never been in a place this big. I don't want to get lost.
Yeah. How about you, Red? Would you like to go see a big strapping leader type person?
Greg? Yes. She says as if like she knows that she's been caught and just doesn't want to admit it but has no recourse.
Well, that settles it.
Nothing wrong with, wanting to see the Lightbringer.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't think he likes me very much.
Maybe it's because of your suit.
It's
You
not
think?
the suit.
But I would just dissipate into nothingness without it.
It's not the suit.
Do you know more dog people?
Not yet.
Have we met any more anthropomorphic animals? No.
I don't think so.
No.
Wasn't there a pig that worked in the bar here somewhere?
Oh yeah. There is definitely a pig person.
There's a pig person?
Yeah, Bork
There's a
the
pig
chef.
person.
Is that where they serve the purple bacon stuff? And they give you the to-go in the lunch boxes and whatnot?
I bet that was fake meat too.
Yeah, it was just whatever. We asked for the thing that they put on everything that makes it taste better.
That is Silas Tavern.
Yeah.
Where you met Bork. But yeah, so when you go over when you go over to the dome in the distance, which you can see it, which again looks like if someone kind of took the Epcot Center and then like slammed it into a stadium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Madison Square Garden, isn't it? It's like on top of it,
yeah. When you get there, the guards recognize you and usher you in right away and take you to that same chamber where you kind of had been briefed and debriefed before. Mounted on the one wall at the behind the head of the table is the Baraphant head.
Oh.
And someone took the time to like taxidermy it up really, really nicely.
Hey,
mount it.
Before we're in that room, can we stop outside of that room before we get in too far? And I want to speak with the others too, like, and out of Lilac's earshot, like, if she does have some kind of tether, should we not bring her in here where she could see the inner workings of things?
didn't we sense that connection was already cut?
Did we?
I think you did try and examine it, and you didn't find one.
Okay. Sorry. Then never mind that.
That's fine. It was several weeks ago.
Yeah. In game time too, right? Like it's been like 3 or 4 weeks since we've been here, right? Like since the last moon, guys. So like a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah. It's probably been close to a month.
If it happens every month, then yeah, we're 3 days out.
I thought it was different because it's like cracked in half.
Yeah, no, it actually happens twice a month. So yeah, first time, second time. This will be the third time.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. There was the one that the Amzia people. That was what the rule was. Yeah. Gotcha.
So so Lilac seems fascinated by the Baraphant on the wall, looking at it and like, trying to reach up and touch it, but it's like just out of her reach.
Just gonna pick her up.
So she's trying to lift the jowls up to play with them, but they're kind of like stiff from whatever the process was.
Yeah, somebody stuffed that. It's not fleshy anymore. Also, it wasn't very fun to play with when it was alive. I'm gonna put her on my shoulders.
Yeah, so she's looking at it and making noises. And wait a minute, you saw it when it was alive?
Oh, we were the ones that killed it.
Oh my god, you must be like the greatest heroes to ever live.
You betcha.
Yeah, Red's pretty great. So
It means you too, Blue.
My faceplate blushes.
Blush emoji.
Yeah.
Is there anything you guys want to do while you're waiting?
Maybe get a drink.
Yeah, well, there's definitely refreshments there if you want them.
I'm going to.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say I'm going to regale Lilac with the tale of the Baraphant.
Just for all time's sake, I'm gonna use my roaming third eye and send it down below and just poking around while we're sitting in this room.
Okay, so you send out your third eye, and the first thing you see is the guard that kind of led you guys in. And, he's going off what appears to be in the direction of to probably go grab Unik and bring him to you guys.
Okay.
Blue pulls out a hairbrush and like a little bottle of there's like one dose left of perfume. And he slides it over to Red.
Yep. Nice.
Wing monkey. So, does Greg have a particular direction he wants to go in?
Yeah, you know what? Down where that construct made of spacesuits scurried away to in that broken pipe. I can go further now. I don't know how long. It just says long range. I don't know what that means. But
okay.
Just to go down and see. It's like, I wonder what happened to that.
All right. So you kind of go down there and. Basically things are as you kind of left them. Does not seem to have returned, and the rotting, bloated corpse of the headless Baraphant is there. It looks like it's been picked over, possibly by and hollowed out by some of those giant rats you've encountered.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Down in the sewers. And before too long, the rest of you hear the heavy metallic footsteps of Unik, Hopebringer. He comes through the doors, and he's in his fully bedecked power armor with his like tiny but very beautiful head poking out between these giant pauldrons, and of course Hope is strapped to his back as always, and he greets you heartily. You've returned. I'm so happy to see that you're all here. Hopefully your travels were successful.
Well, we saw what we needed to see, but we need to tell you about it, and we got to do it fast so that we can prepare for what's to come.
Okay.
Moraine is definitely a sorceress, and then regales him with the story of the statue people that then tried to kill us and the demon and all that nonsense, like the biblical demon, not the daemon.
Earmuffs, Lilac during the demon talk.
Oh yeah.
So she's got, powers to, stop the daemons from being able to take her and her people. She basically coerces or kills to recruit people into her service. She's got some serious magical powers, and she's going to have numbers. So
she's on her way here.
Yes. But some of her power seems to be through like what I would say is basically like sympathetic magic. She uses like components to manipulate some sort of energy force. She also is shielded from what we think might be your people in Amzia. It was a town we passed through in the wastes between here and the wastes of New Jersey. That old wasteland.
He kind of gives you a bit of a look when you say that, and he's kind of taken aback. Why do you say my people?
Well, we got a sense, like, there's the people with and the people without, as the MZians called it, and you kind of resembled one of the ones without. You can talk and whatnot, but there's just a connection.
Yeah, his face is kind of like a dark cloud of mixed emotions that seemed like they might have been buried for a long time, and yeah, he definitely has been caught off guard.
We're not trying to, say this or say that. We're not trying to make you mad. And he just kind of like looks up at the vast size difference between them. But it
we thought you might have insight because of that.
I see. How fares things in Amzia?
We made it better.
There's a alien race of silicon-based creatures coexisting in a symbiotic relationship with them now.
It's been an adventure.
Are you talking about the hairless ones?
No.
Oh.
No, those were the ones that had the weird names that you can't really say.
Yes.
They both call each other nameless, so it's really hard to have a conversation with others. But
I found Julia quite refreshing, though.
I don't know. We had a strange adventure there, and that's what led me, get happy. And he kind of points towards the fish.
Oh, that's different. And also, when you mentioned Julia, like a slight smile kind of like briefly touches his face, and a little bit of recognition in his eyes. Well, it is good to see that they are still faring well, but I'm sure they're still probably mired in their ways.
Yes, and there's plenty of settlements that aren't faring well. In fact, this little precious angel here, we brought back from one such place that we.
This is Lilac, by the way.
Hello, Lilac. How would you like some ice cream? What's ice cream? Oh, you're gonna love it. It's cold and sweet, and it tastes really good. You can't really get it many places anymore. But I do have someone on my staff that knows how to make a proper dish of ice cream. Why, us adults talk a little bit.
I will proceed to swing her down from my shoulders with a little bit of a spin to make it more fun and set her on the ground.
So he summons someone to kind of take her away. I feel perhaps we should, have a unfettered conversation about what's going on and what is to be done next. And I do not want to traumatize the child any further.
I'm inclined to agree.
So, you come bearing news. And
we've learned a lot, we think.
How long before you think they'll arrive?
With
3
the
days.
moon.
3
New moon
days, new
rises.
moon. That doesn't seem like a coincidence to me.
No.
She has some way of protecting her forces from the lunar demons, the same way that the people of Amzia do. Or, I mean, in a similar way. The result, anyway. I don't know if she does. I think it might be tied to her magic or her seat of power, I guess, which is like basically a house that's, where she resides.
Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of people that carry the house.
Yeah,
That's right.
Lilac had described to you that these kind of giant men, like 10 foot tall, completely hairless, bald, with shining eyes, and basically wearing nothing but loincloths, would carry the house on their shoulders, like kind of like a giant howdah.
Oh, they were hairless. Are they like dominated people of Amzia? I say awkwardly. Why not? He already is. I already have an inability in interactions with the Unica, so I'll just lean into it.
I do not know. I don't think so. I mean, unless there were others like our town or maybe before. I mean, I will say, for all of Amzia's faults, one thing they were good at was keeping outsiders away.
And they still are able to do that. That Blue will go into the whole story about how they were able to be led into Amzia, whereas the other towns that were in the area we either saw or was told via scrying what had actually transpired, and how Marinara has been basically killing or kidnapping people into her service, killing those who won't serve, and forcing the service into everybody else, which is just growing her numbers because people would rather join than die.
Is there? Oh yeah, that's right. She's got like coerced people with her too. Damn it! Is there any way that we could like steal her power from those people? It's probably those hairless ones that are shielding them. If we could somehow have them shield New Manhattan when they attack, when the lunar demons would come and carry them away. Which, by the way, there appears to be some possibility of return from being carried away, at least according to Mrs. Bethany. Or Ms. Bethany, she never confirmed.
So, kind of like a little bit of an angry expression crosses his face as he looks at you as you say that.
Oh.
Don't mock the mentally.
I'm not. I have great respect for Bethany.
He's serious. He has a desire to get to the moon. So I've kind of been keeping this to myself, but I guess now's the time to be able to put everything all on the table. I heard an expression of like putting the cards out. I don't know if that still works, but
know when to hold them and when to fold them.
My fear is if she's got the power to, if Marinara has got the power to, keep the demons at bay and the power to get all of these people on her side. What if she's gonna plan her attack at the time of the moon rising, because she's gonna use something to get the demons on her side, so that it's her army and the demons against us.
I was a little concerned about that as you began laying out your tale. For sure.
That does indeed sound terrible.
Perhaps we can send a small strike team in to eliminate whatever is keeping the demons away from them. And then,
is that possible? I mean, we all think she's a real bitch. I mean, if I would totally volunteer. I don't know about these guys.
Like when he starts saying send a small strike team in, Red just gets this slow shit-eating grin on her face, and she's like, Unik, are we the strike team? Is that where we're going with this?
Well, you've been the most capable crew with a very unique brand of mayhem that I've come across. And you have a wide range of talents and abilities. It's going to take a group that's going to be able to slip in and get to the center of that madness and strike at the heart of Marinina's.
We
Power.
call her Marinara because we have no respect for her. We've even told her that part.
Oh, I
It'll
like
make
that.
people less afraid.
I like it, marinara. Why marinara though? What is this marinara?
Because Marina sounds like marinara, and it just sounds kind of silly, doesn't it?
Isn't that what like you dip something into and eat it?
Oh,
Or like,
I'm not much of a connoisseur when it comes to eating.
oh,
I get it. I get it.
We started a whisper campaign. She even self-referenced as marinara once.
That's
So
why I
we're
think
in
you're
her
the
head.
perfect. So I think you're
So-
the perfect team to head in.
So I will lift my chin and I will say, all right, hold the walls, keep them safe, keep her safe, and we will steal you peace.
So my real thoughts are I'm pretty good at doing the whole sneaky thing. I've taught Red a handful of tricks, but I kind of side glance and slowly turn towards Greg.
Yeah.
Greg's,
I'm probably stumbling over something as you're looking.
Greg's not exactly great when it comes to that kind of stuff. So like we had thought about this plan back in Amzea or before about whether we were going to try and do the Strike Force thing then. So unless there's some other resource we got here, it's kind of gonna be doom, bad news.
Maybe you guys can disguise yourselves and kind of hide in plain sight. There's a lot of different factions. That's got to cause some kind of chaos.
Giant suit.
Yeah.
Look at him. How do you disguise somebody who doesn't have a face?
Maybe we can bolt some armor on him. Metal here, metal there. Totally give him the Beyond Thunderdome treatment. And
what about horns? Can we put some horns on there?
Horns?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe like maybe a helmet with the horns on it. Sure.
Yeah, we.
You're gonna have a montage of trying different things.
Oh,
on me,
absolutely. This would be that cartoon style of like, what fur with what horns with what kind of weaponry. Not that you're going to use anything.
One horn, both horns. They're turning down, turning up.
Yeah. So I can put some people on that right away. We could disguise him, and well, I think Goggles, you could use a little bit of a makeover for this particular endeavor. Maybe more like blacks and grays instead of the pink. I like it, but it kind of stands out.
It does.
I mean, like we're gonna have like a stealth motif team. Are we gonna have like uniforms for this? I think we need uniforms. Can we do that in 3 days?
Is that really the best use of our time?
I don't think we'll be the ones sewing. I don't really sew.
Is Marina's encampment like on the water? Like, is she sticking to that or not so much?
I mean, they were kind of
I
coming
don't
up.
think they were much towards the water at all.
She's on the land.
Yeah, she's on the land marching
Yeah,
up. You guys kind of.
It's
Skirted.
actually kind of even though her name is Marina, it's nothing to do with water.
What is her goal? Do you know, Unik? Does Unik know? I mean, if we're still kind of like having like a war room.
I feel like she just wants to take over everything in sight.
Didn't she say that she was a warlord? Isn't that what they do?
Yeah. I don't know.
She is
Hey,
kind of a
Red.
warlord of warlords.
Red, do you think you could maybe try to mess with my suit and figure out if it can change color from white to black? Because, I mean, white and pink is kind of conspicuous. He's right. But I kind of need the armor to be able to do basically everything I do.
Well, there's things about the color spectrum, and if it can make one color, then there's no reason that it shouldn't be able to make more. And I'm like gonna get there and immediately just start pressing buttons and just I go into Donatello mode. Let's go.
If we're,
All right.
so if we're going into the heart of her camp, to her house, you sneak there, but so we're just gonna we're gonna try to like stealth our way through the entire army encampment.
Well, I don't see it as much as stealth as kind of blending in. Like, that's
Oh.
a lot of factions, right? They can't all know everything.
Is she? Do we know? Like, she's not like mentally compelling people. She's just coercing them, basically,
Yeah, it's coercion.
and then basically just probably get broke down over time.
Yeah, I mean, there's dozens of different war bands, and then everyone that they just kind of conscript it. So you gotta imagine that it's some kind of like hodgepodge, military. It's not gonna be very disciplined. It's not gonna be structured.
Right.
It's more like it's gonna be more like a barbarian horde descending.
Is there any sort of like? God, is there any? I mean, does Unik like know any of these people? Maybe not personally, but like, he's a leader. Is he familiar with these communities at all that have been taken over? Like, is there anything we could do to like signal to those people, like, if we run into them, that like, to just give him hope? I mean, he's the hope bringer. Like, did they know him, or is he just the hope bringer to people in New Manhattan?
Well, I mean, my name may have traveled beyond the walls of New Manhattan, and I have traveled the waste for quite some time, gathering up my followers. And I've been through some of these towns and villages. My hope is, when we take the field, that if the opportunity arises, perhaps they will revolt or just flee if they can. But first, what little structure there is, we kind of have to throw chaos into. And I feel like the thing to do that is if we disrupt Marinara's plans. That will probably be enough to give them the opportunity.
So as we're passing through, blending in, maybe we can sort of pass along that message or spread that message that like the hope bringer is going to bring hope.
We'll show them how powerless she really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
You're gonna have to do it carefully. If somebody that's like super loyal, here's words of dissent, we might be in front of her before we know it, and that could be a problem.
It could also be dangerous to the people you're trying to help. If they don't know anything,
yeah,
it might be easier. So, Red and Goggles, you go through all these color changes: lime and pink, pink and pink, back to white and pink, plaid and pink, until you finally are able to get it to go to the black that you're seeking.
Eureka!
I'm just picturing that scene from like Captain Marvel.
You will hold no lands. You will claim no glory. You have taken the black.
Hey, you really are a tech genius. Good job.
She is.
Thank you.
And over the next 3 days, a couple things happen. One is, you guys are able to outfit Greg to make him look more like a
wasteland warrior.
Yeah, a wasteland warrior. They look at Blue and they're like, maybe? And they like hold up a collar and a leash.
Oh, God.
Oh, nah. I don't like that.
He would do it, but
Would he?
Definitely not happy. Red's got to be the one holding the other end, though.
That's the first suggestion, anyway. And he doesn't look very intimidating.
Give us your mean face, Blue.
A child out of nowhere runs up and begins hugging you.
We'll work on it. We got a day or two.
The other thing that happens is the armies and warlords begin to gather outside the walls, and you go to like the tallest building here that's still intact in New Manhattan. You can kind of get a look at the vastness of this army. And imagine like, you ever seen like, depictions of like the Roman armies with all the blocks and squares of soldiers all arrayed. Now imagine like it's that, but then like a giant takes their hands and goes like this in there, and it's more like a circular shape, and you can definitely see that there's like different factions and different banners flying, and everything seems very disorganized, except for there's a couple sections where it seems much more organized than others, where they are probably established warlords that have established war bands that are a little bit more organized and structured. And then you can kind of see like the pockets of what you're thinking of are those that have been conscripted, kind of like ringed into more of these more like militant structured areas.
Well, so this is sort of like happening over that 3 days. It's
as they kind of like trickle in.
Well, if that's the case, then we do have more info than we thought. If we could tell Eunuch that and point, like, I imagine us being up on that heist point with him and like pointing those out. They're the Thundarboars, the Firebrands, and the Raging Cyclopses. And those are like the loyalists, right? So if his forces want to target those people, perhaps the people they're, conscripting and stuff, if they see those banners fall, might.
Yeah, and then you can see that they're arranged in like kind of like a triangular, equal distances of a triangle like throughout, and then they have some other like smaller, lesser warlords and war bands that are kind of like around them as well. And then you can then in between all of those, kind of almost like hemmed in or penned in, are the people that have just been sucked up as the conscripts from just towns that have just been forced.
Sure. So if those banners fall, they might break the morale.
I have a lighter.
Do we know what their soldiers look like? Maybe we should try to blend with them a little bit.
Oh, like those people that were in those factions?
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
And then maybe
like the normal people probably wouldn't mess with us.
Oh, sorry, what?
I said that's a great idea, because then like the coerced people probably would like be less likely to mess with us because they think we were those people. Can we see her house in the middle of the triangle? Or what is in the middle of the triangle? Is it just like nothing?
The last day.
Oh, okay.
The center of the army is just this like kind of like dark dome.
A pyramid of darkness, if you will.
Robin?
Oh, I was just gonna say I take my red cloak off and like turn it around, and the lining is black.
Ooh.
Nice.
Versatile.
Yeah.
You are very crafty, Red.
Can I try to like go in the town and see if I can find a new pair of goggles that is maybe like more a la 90s X-Men Cyclops?
Yeah, I can say you can find that for sure.
Okay.
What other wish fulfillments can we do in the next 2 days?
Well, I'm thinking, because one of them is called the Cyclopses. It's like it would make sense if I had like one of those, or maybe had like a if you've ever seen Triclops from He-Man, where he's got like the one and it's got like the orb.
Yeah. So if you can't find it, you definitely can have it made, and that because that's what they all wear, obviously. That's why they're called that.
Oh, obviously.
Oh, they all wear like those 80s
obvious.
punk rock sunglasses.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm just going like all in 80s punk. Like this is the thing now.
It was going to either be the Raging Cyclopses or the Raging Bebops. It was really tough to decide.
Then you get the square ones with
So we were at the kind of it's like probably you guys are probably going to want to try and slip in during the cover of night.
Mm-hmm.
So you might want to actually like plan for like the wee hours of day 3, so that you have all day to kind of, once you get into the encampment, you have all day to kind of figure out what you're doing.
So the whole encampment is covered by the dome, or just like the center?
Just a portion in the center.
So, as far as our planning over these days, like, are we looking at just taking Morena out? Are we looking at trying to destroy whatever object of power? Are we looking to sow chaos to the point of suicide mission?
No.
Like Blue, has already talked about dying countless times over the.
Note to self:
the
Blue is
time
not
frame
in
you-
charge of the exit strategy.
So like, this is a just cause, and he would probably go into like, hey, I got no problem, going out with a bang, and start talking about explosives and taking out key individuals.
I could totally see that coming up over the few days, and yeah, I would. You know what? If it came down to that, Blue, I agree. I would be honored to let my psychic residue disperse along with you if it took down, because she's just a real bitch.
I have to say I'm very thankful that I met all of you. I mean, you
Okay.
guys are my best friends.
All right, right back at you, but also let's not get into this whole maybe we'll die kick, because I'll tell you, if we go in there expecting to die, our odds of coming out alive are lower for it, and I don't want to
Sure.
fight to die. I want to fight to win. So let's win.
I agree.
I mean,
I'm going in there not expecting anything beyond going in the moment we take a step towards going in there.
I
So
go
we
into
could leave right now if you want.
I go into every fight expecting I'm going to die. So
Really?
that's why I get to try the crazy stuff, because you know what? This is going to be my last chance, and you know what? Hasn't happened yet.
You're like a samurai, Blue, like a genius level samurai.
No, we're going to win. All of you are going to live, or else I'm going to find you in the afterlife, kick your butt, and drag you back here. End of story. Let's do this.
Which we know, which we have evidence of exists. So that's our plan B. If we all die, we'll meet up in the afterlife and come back and kick this bee back to the moon.
And also, you were told that Happy can probably lead you to the source.
We were told that?
Yeah.
We were?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh. Well, then shit. So, let's just spend the whatever remaining time in the 3 days drinking pina coladas.
Oh.
Getting caught in the rain.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I wrote "Happy can lead to," and then I didn't finish what it was. So,
Happy can lead to something.
yeah. Can
I
lead
guess
to
Happy's in charge. I don't know how this works.
the end goal.
Yeah.
I might have to fight him for it.
Poor Happy.
Um,
All right. So, is there anything in particular you want to do before you attempt to sneak in?
Do we have to do anything about a disguise about a flying pink and red fish?
Well, Happy is small enough you could put them in something.
You
Okay.
can ride inside my helmet. Now, like, let the visor down a little bit.
So it's a fishbowl?
Yeah.
For all my bluster about fighting to win and not going in there to die, I am going to make my own contingency plans. I do want to pin a moment to talk with Unik and make sure that Lilac will be taken care of if something happens to us.
Oh yeah, it's definitely easy enough to do. I hope you don't take this the wrong way. I didn't really think of a lot of you as the child rearing type, and figured I would probably arrange some parents or some people to take care of Lilac either way. I just, even after this is over, and I see you folks as kind of being the kind of people that are always going to get into trouble. Probably not good for the young one.
One tough little kid, though.
Are you
Unik.
telling me that I'm not a fit older sister figure?
Oh, you're definitely the bad influence older sister. For sure. In a good way.
Good save.
But yeah, but I'm just saying, I think she would be safer with maybe folks that don't move around as much and have
Like you.
Like who?
Like you.
Oh no! Ugh, it kind of like shivers. The thought. I would be a terrible parent. I've there's far much to do here, but yeah, there's definitely folks here that started families. They're more domestic in
Stable.
nature. Yeah, that would be a good fit for her.
You seem to share some genetic similarities to Bethany.
Or we could give her to somebody who we know will take good care of her because we took care of them. Blue, do you think your family would adopt her?
Oh, my heart.
I mean, I think she would probably love hanging around, with my family, and they can probably learn from her, and she from them.
And then she would actually be related to you and can tangentially our family that we have here.
That would be really nice.
And then Goggles just sort of pauses, like, I mean, if it's okay if I think of all of you like my family.
Oh, of course.
I hug Goggles.
Didn't we already
He
have
hugs you back.
Didn't we already have this whole conversation when
Yeah.
when there was a thought of me not staying with you guys?
Yeah, we did. I didn't cry. You cried.
Heart to Heart was like 2 weeks ago, you guys.
Goggles is totally standing over and behind Red, going like mouthing, "She cried."
So so that's easy enough to get resolved.
Okay.
With that, when you guys set out, the third morning while it's still dark, the encampment is mostly quiet. Seems like there might have been a lot of celebrating the night before. You pass some like restless tents. Give me a group kind of stealth check, speed check.
Okay. What is our difficulty for this?
It is going to be a 4, so you just need a 12.
Which coincidentally is exactly what I rolled.
Or I need a 6.
I'm going to spend the effort to.
Well, you don't all have to pass.
I know, but
Okay.
I'm really bad.
It is a good thing that I am a specialist because I rolled a 6.
Okay.
I rolled an 11, so I missed it by 1.
I rolled a 19.
Woot!
Woo!
Okay. So you guys pass as a group, and you manage to breach the perimeter and get in, and you're moving about. Even say you get stopped once or twice, not necessarily in a who goes there kind of way, but just in a casual, and then they kind of see like the visor, and like, and then they kind of give you like deference because they recognize you as possibly one of the raging Cyclops, and like they're kind of known as being kind of fierce, so they kind of like scurry away, tail tucked between legs. From here you seem to be able to wander freely. No one's questioning anybody inside. Looming before you is the wall of darkness.
I guess it's time to see what Happy can tell us, and kind of whispers to Red. I hope that once this is done, Happy doesn't go away. This isn't one of those use it and lose it thing, right?
I'm sure he'll be fine.
Do you want to go with him?
Yeah, we all have to go with her.
No, I'm saying, do you want to accompany Happy?
We all are going with Happy, don't we?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an actual wall, right? Like a wall of darkness. Like it's an actual wall, like a physical wall.
Well,
I don't
you're
know.
at it. You see it. It's just like you see it, and it's just like pitch in front of you.
Like you cannot see through it. Just looks like you're looking at blackness.
Yeah.
I will let Happy out of the fishbowl.
So Happy kind of like does one of those like bloodhound things, and begins like pushing up against the wall of darkness. And you can see like it's not necessarily a physical thing, but it also at the same time is causing some kind of resistance. And then he kind of like pushes through with a
I visually trying to see a koi acting like a sniffing bloodhound is pretty amusing. I followed directly behind her.
Again, you also feel that sensation of resistance, like Jello, right? Like pushing your finger through Jello or something like that, and it just definitely feels like this greasy, slimy sensation that makes your skin crawl, all the way down to your soul as you pop out the other side, and it is just like dim in here. It's not dark per se, but it's everything just the colors just seem muted. And this is the most organized section of the encampment that you've seen. In the center of it, what you see is, and this is kind of like your attention goes right to it, is this black house that is kind of like on a platform, and it's got poles sticking out of it that are like they're almost like telephone poles, right? That kind of like thickness. And it's sitting on the ground, and a beam of dark energy is shooting straight up from it, and it hits a point in that dark dome and just kind of cascades out. And that seems to be the source of this dome of darkness. And also coincidentally, that is where Happy seems to want to go. But Happy comes, face to face or face to chest with one of those giant alabaster creatures with the gleaming eyes. It's nothing but rippling muscle. And it kind of looks down, dumbfounded and perplexed at Happy, then at Blue. Hey, what you do here?
I'm supposed to go that way.
No, everyone must go that way. Unless you know the sign.
Are we following Blue, or is this just Blue?
That is up to you guys.
I certainly hope you are.
I didn't know if that was like as soon as he stepped in that happened.
Yeah. Well, I was planning on following him because I actually have a thing where I can see in darkness.
Okay. So yeah, I'm assuming you guys were following. Maybe there was a hesitation or whatever, but
right.
Yeah, and then
but he sort of like bumped into that guy as he got on the other side, sort of, is right.
Yeah, like this giant like creature is probably like 10 feet in, and Happy was like doing his thing, and then like right at the chest is like getting ready to go around, and then Blue kind of pops through, and then the rest of you pop through, and it's asking for the sign.
So I really want to just like throw up my best approximation of what I think might pass for a sign, and just give this stone like I think this is really what it is face, like I am certain.
I'm gonna read his surface thoughts and see if I can pick up on his sign.
Ooh.
See if he's thinking about the sign.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as he says what's the sign that pops into his mind. And then you see in his mind, you see him holding up 3 fingers and 3 fingers like this.
Okay, then I will do that too. I'll say I saw the sign, and I'll turn to Goggles and say I opened up his mind and saw the sign.
So yeah, just give the sign.
Oh, okay.
Clearly, we're supposed to be here, going that way. You said.
You asked me? I don't know where you're supposed to be.
Was that a question, or wasn't it?
We're supposed to go that way.
You passed, and then I'll follow Blue.
He kind of shrugs and seems satisfied that you gave the sign, and like the lingering thoughts that kind of Grig picks up as you guys are walking away is him kind of like inwardly chuckling to himself, thinking about mashing people to bits.
One of those.
One of those. And that's where either Blue or Goggles probably spot it first. Blue with his heightened senses and Goggles with his ability to see in the dark. You see others of these creatures like laying around on the ground, just sleeping kind of wherever.
Sleeping. They're just sleeping?
They're just sleeping. And then if you look off in the distance to either side, you see another one standing there, just kind of facing outwards towards the darkness of the dome, appear to be standing guard.
Well, I think you all were exactly right. We've got a classic beam of energy in the sky situation here. So whatever's at the bottom of the beam probably needs to be taken out, just like I think Red suggested. And I think we're all set.
All right, let's be a little bit more sneaky, though. I would like to not encounter more guards.
Oh, now
apparently, I have a reputation for being tough, and I don't want to have to prove it.
You hear the clink and rattle of metal off to the side, like around the other side, the left side of the house.
Man, so we're like right up near the house now?
Yeah, it's not far.
Oof, it's kind of scary. The clink of metal. Is there anywhere to duck behind? Or from... Is this
maybe a sleeping giant thing?
They're that big?
They're like 10 foot tall. Solid muscle. It doesn't. The sound does not seem to be moving. It just seems to be.
All right. So how far away are we from this? Whatever it is that's generating this beam of blackness.
So from the center of the house, you guys are about 50 feet away from it. After having moved in a little ways, the house itself is probably 40 feet long, like a rectangle, 20 feet wide.
And is there is it like a house?
It looks like a
residential house.
Like a rancher someone would live in, only a little bit creepier.
Sure.
Except for it's like vinyl siding, but it's all black.
Well, this might be our fucking moment, you guys.
All right.
All right. So, do we need to sneak up? What's our plan here?
I don't know.
I think our plan is to sneak because sneaking is good.
Sure.
Yeah. So you guys are looking at the broad side. So you might be able to get into one of the windows. They're shuttered with black shutters, of course. Or probably to either end is probably a front end or rear entrance.
Is it emanating from the house or from something outside the house?
From the house, from the center of the roof.
Okay.
She's probably
I was envisioning something very different. So
really?
I had the house, and then in front of the house was a thing, and we weren't close enough to see what that thing was.
Yeah.
So it's all right. My brain every once in a while just hey, I'm gonna imagine something different than whatever RTA.
Oh man, that's what he is. All
right.
Some magic house, huh?
Totally been there. Okay. I would like to go to the back door because most of the time people go to the back door when they go home. So I'm going to go to the back door.
Okay, so that's the direction of the clinking sounds of metal. You begin heading in that direction.
Okay.
And you peer around. On the back porch, there's this fairly decent sized cage, right? It's about 6 foot tall. And it's a cube, 10 by 10, and there's 5 people kind of crammed into it and shackled.
Are they hairless with green eyes?
No, they just look like regular people that maybe were just picked up from one of the towns.
Okay.
I'll motion to Blue because I know he can pick locks. Hey, over here.
So I'll sneak on over and see what I can do about getting the lock open.
Yeah, so when you look at them, like you can see, like they kind of look. Their eyes are a bit glazed and look a little dazed, like the ones that are awake anyway. And they're not very coherent.
How many are there?
5.
So I'll whisper to the group. What if we unlock the cage now, deal with what's inside, and help them on the way out?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Okay.
And as you kind of examine them, like they have very little clothing on, and you can see that it looks like they've been tattooed, like with like runes and sigils all over their bodies.
It's not good.
Do you think they might be being used as batteries?
Maybe.
That's
Maybe we need to
possible.
get them out of here then. Right now. Maybe that'll even stop the thing.
It's like the Giznor all over again.
Yeah, it is. But in a really, I don't know, weirdly similar way.
What?
It just feels creepier because these are flesh people.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Blue, can you get them out now?
What's my difficulty?
Let's see. It's going to be a 4, so 12.
All right. So I am trained in lockpicking, so that's going to bring it down to a 9. I will expend a level of effort, bring it down to a 6. There's a 17.
Yeah, you're able. Once you get the first one, like they all just fall like dominoes. Because basically it's the cage itself, and then they each have like shackles on that shackled them, a limb to the cage. They seem to barely register what's going on.
I'll lift him out very gently and just kind of set him down and see if once they're out of the cage, if that helps anything.
They kind of like almost like unconsciously or subconsciously begin stretching and it's kind of cramped for 5 people in there, and several of them are taller than 6 foot, so they couldn't stand up to their full height, so they had to like hunch. But other than that,
scan them to see if they're okay.
So they're just kind of like standing there. Although you do realize too, though, if they do try to leave, there is a pretty good chance they're gonna get spotted by one of those giants.
Mm-hmm. If nothing else, they're now free so that when we cause a ruckus, they can run.
I mean, are they like coherent, or are they just sort of like out of it being led around? Can they talk? I'll say like, "Are you okay?" Like,
so they can talk. They are out of it, but when they do talk, they slur their words.
Okay, it'll be okay. We're here to help.
Can I take some of the shackles?
You may.
Okay, I will do
if Blue
that.
wants to unfasten some of the shackles, he can.
I know you're scared. It's going to be okay. The hope bringer's coming.
All right.
Good.
So
I didn't want to be part of the magic thing.
I understand. But you're not part of the magic thing anymore, are you?
No, not yet. It's later.
It's later?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I think they just need our hearts, though. Other than that, yeah, that's
your hearts. This lady's really terrible, you guys.
Yeah.
Well, listen. We're gonna go in there and see what we can do about that. In the meantime, the Hopebringer's nearby. It looks like it's pretty dangerous around here, but if you actually, I like turned to my friend, like, I don't know what to tell them.
hide.
Hide here. Stay concealed here.
Okay, so they start crawling underneath the house because there's like there's like a space between the platform and the poles.
Oh, okay. I thought it was being magically held aloft. I was like, that could end poorly if we defeat her. And it's like, what? But it's actually like physically suspended above the ground by these poles. Like it's resting on top of them.
Yeah, it's resting on top of them. So I mean, they're like telephone poles. So
yeah, right.
So there's a bit of room for them to kind of like squeeze in there.
So
That's
when
good. Okay,
when
great.
when the chaos happens, get to the city.
When you're inside, can you see out of that dome of darkness?
Yes, but it's very, very muted.
Okay.
So it's like it's opaque from this side, but also like if you've ever seen like opaque black glass, that's what you're kind of looking through.
Sure. Do we have any ciphers?
I have one left. We have some kind of wall. It was like, wasn't there a scroll of like wall of stone or something like that?
Was there?
Wall of ice, maybe?
I have a mental scrambler that is still in my inventory and a gravity nullifying application that'll make something float like a balloon.
Damn, all right.
I have a curative.
Okay.
So before you lies the house.
So can I check the back door to see if there's, any traps or anything along those lines?
Man, it's almost creepier that it's just like a regular house, isn't it? It's like really creeping me
sure,
out.
Blue. Give me
that.
a check.
Perception?
Like,
Perception. Yeah, it's going to be a 5.
So 5 is a 15. Brings it down to a 9. It says intellect. Yeah, I'll spend a level of effort. I'm glad I did, because I brought it down to a 6 and I rolled an 8.
Okay, so yeah, you're able to unlock it, and as you do, you notice like this odd writing and script moving in a pattern, which you're able to replicate and keep it intact and from going off as you are able to kind of like open the door.
magic lock. What's it look like inside? Is it just like a regular house?
So
like a grandma's house, all covered in doilies and frilly things.
Yeah, don't make me have sympathy for this bee, man. It's just like some.
No, one of the things is it is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. This back area that you're coming through is like a mudroom, but it's full of all like alchemy type stuff and
Interesting.
magical attributes and stuff.
All right, Happy.
He goes in, he's doing the thing. There's a door, into this room, and then on the other side of that door is a vast chamber. But before you see anything, you hear this like slithering sound and hissing of serpents.
Mm-hmm.
And Happy is trying to head towards basically it's a cauldron with a crescent moon. One side of it's spinning, and one side of it is black, and one side of it is white or silver above said cauldron. And a figure quite tall and slender, and with a cowl pulled down and robes, but clearly like that slithering and hissing sound is coming from that direction. And then you see jutting out from that cloak is a serpent's tail, but like 8-10 feet long, swishing back and forth with a rattle on the end of it.
Ooh.
And the women's or feminine slender hands kind of reach out from the sleeves to pull back the cow to reveal a woman's face, which would have been very beautiful, except for it's kind of covered in scales and glowing yellow eyes, and all of the serpents that are writhing upon her head that seem to be looking in your direction, all of them with beady red eyes.
I was serious. I do look away.
No, I believe it.
I'm from a time when they would know the pop culture references.
I see that one. knows the legends. I do enjoy this form. It does amuse me. And then, like, from the form steps a very attractive, young looking woman that, has like deep plunging V-neck on the dress, kind of like a very young, like Elvira kind of look to her.
Oh no.
And steps kind of out of that form, and it dissipates into a poof of shadows. It amuses me that you so get it. And with that, you guys can bust out a speed test.
Hey. Ooh. Can we crit on the speed test?
That's a very good question.
19.
I got an 18.
I think we can with a minor effect. But the speed test is actually a 24.
Ooh, yeah, I failed miserably.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Well, I don't beat her. I got a 19.
So, what did you get, Blue? Of all of you, I think you're the only one.
I got an 18, which counts as a 21 because I'm trained initiative tasks.
Okay.
But that still is not high enough.
So, yeah, with that, she kind of smirks, and lucky for you, young heroes, you found your way here, and she is going to rush Goggles. Goggles looks like the most physically imposing. She says a word, a rune glows on her hand, and she goes to slam it into your chest. Give me a speed defense.
Okay. Let's see. That's a 9.
Okay.
So
yeah, so she's...
I am trained in it, but I don't think that helps.
It's not going to be enough. She's an 8. So she blasts you with it and knocks you back into the alchemy room. You'll take 8 damage before you're any armor.
Oh!
And everyone else will take 4 before any damage, and you're kind of pushed out towards the edges of the room.
Wow.
It was just like a force blast. Like she hit him, and it was like a kind of like a wave.
Might damage or speed damage?
It is might damage.
Oh, it's might damage. Okay, hold on.
So is activating a Cypher an action?
It is.
Okay.
So, Blue, the lone ring that he has been wearing for quite some time, he just kind of turns it. And I pull out my knife.
Okay.
So, did you say a ring?
I have a ring of resistance, so I take half damage from everything.
Oh.
Okay. Am I able to retaliate with this?
Give her a hug. Retaliate.
Are you able to retaliate? What do you want to do?
Well, I presume I'm next in the initiative order. So, I would like to try to take some of the potions that are in the immediate vicinity and start chucking them in the cauldron.
Okay, absolutely.
Miscability.
Yeah. Give me a speed test of 3 to chuck them in.
Okay, we like the number 19 tonight.
Oh, okay, good. So that's gonna be a minor effect. So there's a flash of light, and it's going to get, it kind of goes off in her face, giving her, one inability.
Okay, cool.
For the next round.
All right. And I'm just shouting, I wonder what this will do. What about this one? And I'm just like looking to pick them all up.
What did you roll, Red, for your speed test?
13.
Oh, that's what I got too.
And you guys can always just pick your order as well. So
Hey, you want
Oh,
to do a little
okay.
combo move, Red?
Yeah, sure. What you got in mind?
Well, I was just going to use my resonance field and sort of like get all up in her face, and I'm big and bulky, and then maybe, get her attention and then move out of the way so like Red can jump over me or something like that and attack.
okay.
So like when you
And I'll
clear
say,
view,
hey, you should
suddenly
take
I
your
will
other
be
form.
there,
You were better
sword
looking.
slashing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
let's go.
I'll say that to her. So I'll say, go back to the other form. You were better looking with the snake hair.
I can't even lie and pretend like that's true, but I'll hit her anyway.
All right. Well, so that'll bring her down from an 8 to a 6 for you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just sort of like duck down out of the way for Red to do whatever it is she's gonna do.
Come on, you can do it, Red.
Is a 15 gonna do me?
18 is what you needed.
Oh no. No, I got a 15.
And Happy is like swimming around that charm that's hanging above the cauldron.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Thank goodness for Happy.
Well, then we're keeping her
I didn't
busy
even
for you.
remember him
two.
saying
Sure.
yes.
So I guess it's back to her turn.
It is. She turns to Grig,
Sure.
says, "Interesting," and moves her hands around, swirls them, and goes to basically throw a beam of energy at you. So it's
Okay.
going to be a
And
7.
that's all right. Well, then, since I have my resonance field up, it'll be an intellect check. I drop it down to 6. And wait, how many times can you drop it down? Oh yeah, that's right. I'll make it go down to a 5. So let me spend the points for that. I figured out how they work now. Come on, die. Oh, it's the half moon. That's a major
20?
effect.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that actually it specifies what that does. Sorry, because it was like an attack against me. Hold on. I have that bookmarked. It's boring. I mean, it's cool, but it's
Yeah.
If you
It's
get a
just
major
like
effect, the
damage,
creature
right?
attacking you takes 4 points of damage instead.
Yeah. So her beam of energy hits it, disperses along it, and then kind of like circles back and slams into her. For
Nice.
the 4 points, and it doesn't seem to be affected by any armor or anything. And I'm gonna say it like kind of knocks her back onto her ass.
Was that interesting too? I say.
So you said that there's a charm that's just like dangling over top of the cauldron.
Yeah, it's a crescent moon. One side of it is black, and the other side of it is silver.
So can I grab it and just smack it with the butt of my dagger?
Yeah, you could absolutely do that.
Just smack it with your butt.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, smack
Smacking with the butt of my dagger. I've got one of those.
Sit on it.
It's literally written on my equipment list as a Rambo knife.
Oh,
Oh yeah, that.
Got all the stuff in it. You're gonna break the compass, man.
I just meant that like it's thick, it's got the
I know.
serrated blade and that kind of stuff. So what am I looking at here?
give me a speed check. DC or it's a 5, so 15.
5. I haven't taken any speed damage yet, so I'm gonna apply 2 levels of effort. No, I'm gonna apply 3 levels. I'm gonna bring this down to a 2. And thank God I did, because my dice have been sucked. That's a 5, but that doesn't. So
yeah, as you do it, you grab it and go to yank it. You feel all of your fur basically stands on end, and you just big poof ball of blue fur, like static electricity. As you encounter the magical wards that are protecting this thing.
Oh, nice.
You avoid the damage because you're quick enough to grab it. And now you have it, and you can try and smash it if you want.
Okay. So might
Yes,
I don't know.
might.
I don't know.
Yes, might. It's only a 2 though to break. It doesn't seem super.
Now, I roll a natural 20.
Natural 20.
Wow, man, and the thing that's doing that's awesome.
Yeah, so you do that. You come down like double fisting, slamming the hilt of your Rambo knife into it. And sparks fly. And you hear this whoosh sound as the magical effect that it was actually kind of creating inverts into the house it was going out of, into the cauldron, and blast arcane energy at everyone, including her. So everyone give me a speed check of 8 to avoid this.
Oh my.
Goody.
You can use whatever defenses you want to.
I'm gonna spend some effort here.
Same worth it.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend.
Oh
effort.
no.
Oh wait.
So that brings down to a
Is it? Wait.
So then I'll bring it down again to a 6. That's feasible.
Is this a defense roll?
It is a defense roll.
So I can use my intellect. I will.
I'm gonna bring it down to a 5. I'm gonna spend a ton of speed to do this.
Okay.
So that means I have to roll 15 or better. I mean, it's not great odds, but it's a quarter chance instead of not at all.
Power score.
Rolled a 2.
16.
Give me your power score.
16. Yes. Yes.
9.
16.
Oh, man, I rolled
By
a 2
one.
Also.
Well, at least they weren't ones.
We're 2 twins, Robin.
Well,
And
that is
what-
generally the
intense.
number that twins come in.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And what was that, Blue?
I have a 9.
Okay. So all of you will take the 8 points of damage, except for Goggles. You're actually able to withstand it. It's might damage.
Oh.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, it's might damage. It's like almost like a magical explosion.
Oh, okay.
I hit the wall.
My ring absorbs half of it. Yay.
And then
Sorry, reply?
somebody drop a d20 and tell me what you get.
Okay. 14.
Yeah, that one flying.
14. So Marinara, as you like to refer to her, sitting on her butt, gets slammed up against the wall where she's sitting, and also takes the damage as well.
Oh.
Excellent.
And so who did that? Blue did that.
Yep.
Next up, any of you could really go. What do you guys want to do? She's looking very angry, and slightly disarrayed.
Is that beam of energy? Was that coming from that charm?
Well, the beam that just came down was a black beam of energy, and it was like this dark crackling energy that blasted out. So you're not entirely sure, but it seems very feasible.
Okay. I'm pretty stunned, but if I have an action, I'm going to use my comm link that I've never used to try to just send a message to Unik and say that the protection around her home we think is down.
So when you do that, it won't happen immediately, but you'll get a response back saying, "That's all we needed. You should probably get out of there."
Oh.
Goggles are red.
Does it take an action to use a cipher?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to go ahead and take my action to use my curative. So that'll bring me back up to full
Nice.
for my might health. Or for my might pool.
Oh.
Oh?
Okay. So the mental scrambler goes off 2 rounds after being activated, which gives us plenty of time to skedaddle. And I have to imagine she's probably going to try to get her spell back online. So I think this might be a good point to drop that.
Okay.
Ooh.
And I do.
Nice. So she
That is
gets up
very
and
nice.
begins dusting herself off because she's kind of disheveled, fixes her robes, fixes her hair so it's perfect again. And you insufferable children, you are gonna pay for this. And
Gonna have to put it on my tab.
she kind of glares at Blue and focuses her hands in your direction. Runes appear on her palms and an energy shoots in your direction.
No.
Give me an intellect defense.
An intellect defense. What's my DC? For my
She's 8.
She's a. What do you know? It's not a natural 20. I got a 16. That's
Yeah, so you kind of look at those runes upon her palms and then look up and her eyes blaze with energy. And Blue begins to turn to stone.
No!
Shit. I say.
Blue, it is your turn. You may attempt to shake this off.
I would certainly like to do so. Is this just another intellect roll?
It is just another intellect roll.
Okay, well, I don't want to be stone, so I'm going to spend the maximum level of effort I can. So that is 3, which only brings it down to a 5, so it's a 15. I am trained in intellect defense, so it brings it down to a 12. Is that correct?
That sounds about right.
All right.
Oh, yeah. I forgot I was trained in this shit.
But this doesn't have anything to do with sanity, right?
Sanity? You have a bonus for sanity?
I do.
It's insane that you're turning to stone.
I have defense against sanity attacks because I'm doomed.
Nice.
This is a 16 again.
So you shake it off and flakes of concrete and stone dust kind of go everywhere as you do.
Oh man.
But it kind of takes your action to resist it.
That's fine.
And this is round 1.
That was only one round?
No. Since Red
For
dropped
the
the scrambler.
yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Jesus. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Who wants to go next?
So we need to keep her busy or get out of here? It's going to
We
go
need to
off.
go. We gotta go.
Yeah, we got a GTFO.
Yeah. Can I pick up Blue and Red and yeet out the nearest exit, even if it's a window?
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. The nearest exit will be a window.
Okay. So I'm just going to have one in one arm, one in the other arm. I'm like, Greg, keep up. And I jump out the window.
I will call out happy follow.
Does this count as being defenestrated? Is it still being defenestrated if the person goes out the window with you?
What is defenestrated?
That is the word for when you throw someone out a window.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know there was a specific word for that.
There is a specific word for that, yeah.
I mean, I'm technically doing it to myself as well. So
I think you're being carried out the window, so I don't think that counts.
So
You're being
this
assisted
is
out the window. You're
not
being
a
assisted in.
defenestration.
I will register that Gaggle said that, and I will open up my visor for Happy to swim in, if you will, and then I will fire step and jump out the window after them.
Okay. You're not sure why you didn't hear this, but the armies from New Manhattan are kind of attacking.
Oh.
Oh, cool. Bet.
Yeah, she's probably got it muffled. She doesn't want to hear what people are talking about. They're
they kind of descended on the encampment. I mean, they're kind of vastly outnumbered, but they're doing it anyway. But you also see what appears to be, it looks like kind of like a spaceship-ish type thing, except for the front of it has a face, and in the distance you hear almost like a battle cry, upgrades, coming from this vessel. And people appear to be rappelling out of it, into the encampment to enter the fray. From
yeah.
from a different direction, you just see you see the morning light kind of glistening off the domes of all these bald folk, as them and their company nameless ones are kind of chanting, and seem to be causing some kind of a chaos in that direction. And then you see them all hold aloft a white and pink crystal, and they begin to take on the energy forms of the Giznor, as they kind of did when they would take over Goggles.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see Dustin and her merfolk childlike creatures as well, at a different point. And then there's a loud crashing sound as Unic Hopebringer lands amongst the middle of them and begins laying waste, with Hopebringer firing and cutting, and basically kind of cutting a swath as these different forces kind of like meet up and then begin forming a strategic withdrawal. As they do, the warbands begin kind of collecting themselves in order to launch a counter assault. And that's when the trike cycles buzz into view to kind of cut it off, and you can see unrest throughout the camp kind of begin to happen. And also, like, some weird thing with time dilation is kind of seemed to happen. Because as you came out, like, you thought the sun was coming up, but it actually seems to be going down, and the moon is rising.
Oh.
And that's when the lunar daemons begin to descend. While the encampment is battling and trying to fight the defenders, they're kind of withdrawing. And that's when they get hit from kind of behind by the lunar daemons, and they just begin carrying people away. And it looks like the defenders are going to make it back to the walls, as well as those that have come. And you've already seen the defenses of the walls repel the lunar daemons before. With easier pickings out here on the field, they're not likely to test the walls this evening. But at this point, I will GM intrude. As you kind of are like watching and looking around, you're kind of distracted and don't see the lunar daemons descend upon the four of you. And, as they carry you up, swoop down, grab you, and carry you up, you see that your efforts have not been in vain, and New Manhattan will stand, and the forces of, as you like to say, Marinara, the merciless, will be scattered to the winds. But as of right now, you seem to have bought yourselves a one-way ticket to the moon. And even if you were able to escape the grasp of the lunar daemons, you are so high up now, you would not likely survive the descent. Maybe Greg, but the rest of you,
the one who wants
boned.
to go.
And that is where we're going to end things for season 1.
Woo! Yes.
And so with that, now we're going to wrap things up. If we want to do a Q&A, if people want to talk about the game and the session, if people have questions, you can feel free to ask them in the chat.
Yeah, the chat was as lively as usual, although I was pretty enraptured by the game the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, I must say that game far exceeded all of my hopes and dreams. I, was looking forward to like crazy psychic weird phenomenon, just because that's what my character was all about, and boy, that paid off in spades. Except it also like interwove with everybody else's characters, and that was a lot of fun.
That was crazy.
Was absolutely fabulous. I enjoyed it. I love the ending of us being carried away to the moon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you can all take your GM intrusions and get your XP.
Hey.
And give out the XP to who you want to give it to.
So that would be, we'd all get 4 essentially for the end of the thing.
Yes.
Essentially, I'll give mine to Red.
I give mine to Goggles.
I guess I'll give mine to Greg.
The blue.
All right.
Yeah, full circle.
So try little square.
And if we pick up things for a season 2, I'm thinking we're gonna start on the moon. So,
Yeah. Oh, I
That'd be
I
really
hope we
cool.
come back to all these games we're playing with this group because I definitely love all the characters that we've come up with and settings. Both settings have been very captivating to me. I could picture them really well, and they're super fun to interact with.
Oh yeah, Dave, you did an awesome job. Like pulp science fantasy, like it's been crazy. And you introduced us, at least me, to a new system, and I love it. Like Cypher System is super elegant. I dig it.
So apparently the bar is being set kind of high. I should be a little worried.
Got a good group of people.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Stephen. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I said I'm excited for what comes next. Dave has actually already spilled the beans a little bit on one of the live chats. So what is it? We'll be back in 3 weeks with the next game of Dungeons and Delving.
Yeah, so we're basically taking 2 weeks off, and then we'll kick it up.
So our session 0 isn't going to be live either.
Right.
No.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, we got an awesome group.
And then, Ted, you want to tell them about the game you plan on running?
I brought up this idea and I started doing this whole pitch, and Dave was like, "You mean X Crawl?" So I am going to be setting this 5th edition game in the future of whatever typical world where all of the areas have been explored. Technology has actually transpired to the point where the modern day things that we have, televisions and cell phones and all of that stuff exists, but so does magic and so do monsters. So what do people do for fun? Well, just like now, they tend to stare at a screen and get entertainment. So in that, the most popular reality competition show is Dungeons and Delving. Where adventurers, go against hazards, traps, sometimes real monsters, sometimes holographic monsters, all for the sake of fame and prizes. So these illustrious adventurers, characters, will be, diving in for fun, fame, and profit.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see for what comes next. I think it's going to be a fun game, and it's going to have definitely have a different feel to it.
Well, so far, all of these games are definitely, on new spectrums, new waves. So I've been having a blast. I love this group.
Yeah, I feel like pleasantly challenged as a player and a DM to or just, I guess I haven't been a DM yet, but just as a player, it's like, oh man, I gotta keep up and make this fun for the other people in the group because they make it so much fun for me. So.
Speaking of having fun, __ wants to know, are the Nameless still content / having fun with their status or situation?
It's a good question. Maybe we'll find out when we do a season 2.
Well, they were both groups of people were considered the other ones to be the Nameless.
Yeah.
I did not have near the level of paranoia or mistrust as my co-players. I did not think the inviting smoke was ironic or a trick.
I vaguely suspected the inviting smoke was a trap.
Really? Oh, there's another question from how old is Goggles supposed to be?
Yeah, how old is Goggles supposed to be? So I envision Goggles being about early 30s, maybe 33, 34, something like that.
Like your age?
Yeah, roughly my age.
Yeah.
I kind of modeled him as being okay, so what if there was a health food conscious social media influencer who did occasional thirst pics on Instagram, but in this weird future. Okay. And then I was like, okay, but then I also want to take inspiration from Scorpia and go from there.
I was, funny, Stephen, you mentioned this, you introduced this system. I have bounced off this system 2 other times in games that I did not like it at all. But I really liked this game, and I think that's another testament to the people you play with. Not that I didn't like those people, but just it is like playing game with those people, or maybe it was just the time and place or whatever. But I've liked this game a lot. I think it's really fun and cool. I like the fact that, like, you know, your power like is hugging somebody and like that does something and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool. That actually saved the day a couple times.
So we played a Cypher Shadowrun mashup, you know, back in the day, and that was my first real exposure. And then we played a Numenera game, or I played a Numenera game.
Oh, that's right.
On the Saver Dice channel. And then I've run No Thank You Evil, which is basically based off of the same engine, but as opposed to, you know, the full D20, it's just a D6. I mean, I've played a variety of games within, you know, within the essentially the Cypher rule set, and I've enjoyed all of them. And as with a lot of games, the group is going to be telling the, you know, the adventure, and what you put into it is going to be telling, you know. So, you know, sometimes, yeah, a group can spoil a game. You know, I don't know the specifics of why you didn't have as much fun with it, but I'm glad Dave brought you around here.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely played in systems I don't care for, but it's been fun because of the people playing. So
Yeah.
So
I guess I just equated it with that because it was like, yeah, the experience sucked, and it was like that, you know what I mean? So you just think like, yeah, that game stinks. But I really like the game a lot.
So we have another question for Goggles, is basically, as caring and, you know, potentially good father, why didn't you adopt Lilac?
Goggles is very self-aware in a lot of ways. He's almost more self-aware than he is aware of others in certain contexts. But he knows that he wants to spend time with this group. Like, this group was kind of his first group of best friends. He is also very aware and conscious that his chosen family that he has now is very much the sort that is going to not only attract but pursue danger. And that is not the sort of environment that's conducive to raising a child. And he doesn't want to actively endanger a child when he kind of has this sort of wanderlust toward danger that he's discovered through this adventure.
So let me ask you guys a question. Like, if we do a season 2, is there anything particular in your characters that you would like to explore that hasn't been explored yet, or is just barely scratched the surface on? And I'll just go around. You're making a lot of faces over there, emotions. Robbie, I'll start with you.
I want to take a level in Paladin.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out how to do that. I like that idea. I feel like that's something I definitely would like to explore. That came up a little bit later.
I have a question to ask, but I want to do it, you know, totally away from everybody else. You know, because it's a weird thing, and I think would be pretty cool. But as far as, you know, things to explore, I mean, Blue is pretty content with, you know, being a successful hero. Is, you know, found his real family and his other real family. So like, he's, you know, whatever things may come, he's, you know, he's ready for.
Is Blue still gonna feel like he's doomed?
I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait for season 2 to see what happens.
I don't think he'd be Blue if he wasn't. But it's that, you know, that's what I like about this game. Like, that's your trait, and like, and also in role playing it, like you pointed out when we were doing a recap, like that actually was an advantage, because by leaning into that, you did get more people on that ship, and they did save them and stuff. So I think, you know, it's like the same way with like the, you know, his kind trait and stuff. It's like it actually like does something.
Well, I mean,
and through role playing too. I just
right. And all of those things are fantastic. You know, and some things can be looked at as a character concept, and some things, you know, can be attributed to a mechanical thing. But I don't think it's ever going to change, you know, what Blue has done or who Blue is. You know,
I mean, I guess I like that there's like a sort of a an RP hook like that that's part of making a character, kind of like requires that, you know.
So __ wants to know, was Blue targeted to turn to stone because he was doomed?
I'm going to answer this because I know Dave's playstyle. She targeted Blue because he's the one that broke the freaking crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very uncomplicated that
way. Dave, to answer your question, that far exceeded anything I hoped for my character. So I was blown away from session 1 till then. It was amazing. And so that was my experience.
I think Doug bit hardest into the apple with the world and his character concept.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with trying to incorporate everyone's like mini arc in there and what was going on with it. And I must say, like, a lot of it kind of evolved through play. Like, Goggles' character design kind of like informed the Giznar arc, but also I just wanted to put in atomic skeleton surfing Nazis.
Sure.
And I was like, you know what? Why do they have this technology? It would be cool if I could tie it to something. And then like tying the technology, the Goggles technology, and then going, it's not really just the technology, but this race of aliens. And like with them having this like kind of sad, tragic backstory, which is like a good counterpoint to Goggles, trying to be everyone's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And then like having to be like, oh, do I have trapped people in my stuff that I'm carrying around?
Well, and that also goes to show the way, you write the material is like you are feeding off of, the things that we say and do during the game. If there wasn't hey, we need to help out these crystal people, that whole session of us going to the Giznor planet wouldn't have happened. I don't think that was, prepped or planned in advance. It was like, all right, they want to do this. How do we make it happen? Okay, there you go.
That was super
and that's
cool.
The cool part about it, though, too, is like I was thinking about that, and and I actually had a question for you, Dave, too. But it's like, I know you didn't plan each of those things, but the things we did do actually became a resource. Like those people, we had an impact on them. They wanted to help us at the end, and they want, maybe we inspired them. Like, yeah, fuck this lady. Like she's a bee. I'm gonna help those people or whatever, right? It's like if we would have went to other towns, like those people would have showed up, right? But I know you didn't have any plan. But my question to you is like, how much of this campaign did you have planned ahead of time? Was it just like, there's an evil sorceress and she wants to take over New Manhattan? That's it.
I started with so we did a session 0 and we kind of talked about some things, but I had 3 main plot points. When we started, right? And that was the idea of establishing New Manhattan, the idea of Marina the Merciless, and the Lunar Demons. And then later I added the Giznor as that became more relevant. And establishing New Manhattan could have went in several different directions, but you guys decided you wanted to deal with one of the threats instead. So a lot of that, I just kind of played off of what you guys did. And also you guys were very generous to me as a GM by making these pivots at the end of the session, right? So it made it real easy for me to end at a point where you guys were going to do something that would heavily impact the next session and give me a week to think about what direction or what shape that was going to turn in.
Good players.
Yeah, and then I knew after I started doing stuff with Goggles and also Griggs, the almost 2 session arcs that kind of involved things that happened to them in the past or previously, I was like, well, I want to try and incorporate that for each of the players. And then, once you guys were, head into the next destination, I was like, well, what if that's where Blue's family kind of turns up, right? And then, that kind of took up a couple sessions to figure that out and kind of, a plot point to go back to. And, again, me having the ability to invest in the things that you guys were invested in, right? So that like I think that makes it more fun for everybody.
Well, that means if in season 2 that the lunar daemon's going to be all tied to Red.
Oh no,
she's the mysterious character,
the secret chosen one.
Yeah.
Well, so we worked some things in there, right? So Red's character is a little bit more mysterious. So some of the things was like at the very beginning, we touched on it a little bit with the Trike Cycle Gang, and then from the Chainsaw Association, and then also like the Violet arc or Lilac arc, you know, was there for Red, especially when Red decided to offer themselves up for the demon.
Yeah, does Red have some kind of like mysterious markings on her that were covered up most of the time? I like vaguely remember you mentioning like something on her arm, like offhandedly in that.
I vaguely remember that too now that you mention it, but I completely forgot that was a thing, so I'll have to go back and look again.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Because I was like, oh, did she just reveal some secret thing? I was like, did that happen?
You know, to be fair, I mean, Red does keep covered up most of the time. You know, she's even to the point of wearing gloves. You know, wearing the mask. So like, you know, yeah, you see her take the mask off. You know, he occasionally takes, you know, the gloves off. But I mean, we went multiple sessions, you know, before like you actually had that, you know, the glove off happen, and it was a moment, you know, Blue like holding her hand that was actually a thing, because it was actually, you know, probably one of the first times it was real skin to skin contact between these people that, you know, love each other as friends do. Like, you know.
Yeah. Raven noted that this is the first time you've played a character that doesn't have a pet.
Yeah.
And Underscore thinks that when you take on a level of Paladin, you're going to be Omen 2.0 from the Chaos Crew.
Hey.
Yeah, I responded to that.
Red has a pet. He's right here.
You're not my pet, you're my brother.
Little brother. Also, there's been a call for Blue to meet some Wonder Twins in season 2.
Right. You know what? I was just thinking, like, I don't feel like Goggles has a lot that I want to necessarily explore, but I wouldn't be opposed if whenever Lilac ages up, she becomes our Jubilee, because, like, then she just comes on dangerous missions with us, and we're all like, stay back. And she's like, no.
Stay back. Your fireworks powers are not going to help here.
I gotta mention, like, Red was still in the mindset of one of those kids in the wastes finding another kid in the wastes and thinking, like, we should probably teach her how to survive out here more than we should probably get her to a safe place.
Yeah.
And it took Unik being like, look, this is stupid, for her to realize, oh yeah, I guess this is stupid. Because in her own mind, she's still a kid. Like,
so I imagine, you know, like, we gloss over, you know, travel scenes, but I would imagine, you know, probably Red was doing the lessons pretty hard on the boat while we were walking, and, you know, the whole time, you know, Blue would be chiming in of like, oh, well, there's this danger here and there's that danger there, and
this will kill you, that'll kill you, you can die this way or that way. So many ways to die.
She won't let you do this.
Yeah, between that and that kid is tough, though. I mean, she did survive on her own in the ruins of a town for, I don't know how long, at least a week or two, right?
Yeah, but she was also kind of a plant, like.
But I mean,
she had a demon living in her.
Up here, man, up here, a little kid, like, would see her whole village get like killed or captured, and just even to go on at all, and she wasn't like crying about it or nothing. She's a tough little.
Yeah, so maybe you know, maybe there'll be a time dilation in between, you know, us being on the moon and getting back to the Earth, and we can you know, see what's transpired with Lilac, and bring in a, you know, a special guest to play her, you know, for a session or an arc.
That would be cool.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah,
it could be fun.
Weird time and space and mind bending stuff in this game. But I like I like the cartoon logic that you mentioned earlier, Ted, too. Like, things like halfway through, like, is this just like cartoon logic? Like, okay, I get it. Like, and so we can like make electromagnets with like a battery and a magnet.
But I mean, that's that's part of what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
there's
Oh, I
times
love
they're gonna do stuff like that, and times like, all right, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Kat thinks that Lilac was one of the lost boys from Peter Pan. I hope not. That means she never grows up.
Yeah, when I first hear it, like part of me went to the vampire movie in the 80s, but
Purple vampires.
yeah. So how did you guys feel about me using fake red and blue?
I liked
red and
that.
blue? What do you mean?
I enjoyed that. So like I don't usually go in for like this happened but there were no stakes, but because I didn't know that there weren't stakes while we were doing that, then it worked perfectly smoothly, and you being after the fact like, oh, by the way, you weren't actually there. No, I actually really liked that because it gave me this dissonance that I got to play with my character, because like we still got to play in the session, but then there was also like I don't know what you're talking about and I'm going back to bed, you madman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wouldn't say there weren't stakes. They just weren't stakes for blue and red.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, like Robin said that you didn't tell them, any of us that, so I just assumed they were there. And also, I'm just naive in real life. Like I just get so immersed, I'm not even thinking about it. It's like, oh my god, like this is really dangerous, and I didn't know. I thought, like, did they project us back in time, or I don't know what's going on. It's whatever, it could have been there.
The days of every nuance needs to be explained is gone. We've talked about it on the channel a variety of times about, when you have a session 0 and, you've got all of these people and you spend all of this time to get everybody exactly where you want them, is exhausting for a GM. So even when you take that concept and put that into, the middle of gameplay and be like, all right, you're here, I'll figure out a way for it to make sense later, is great. Or, as you did, I thought it was perfect. We've got these 4 adventurers who have been traveling together, and in their mental construct, whatever, we still don't know what aspect those characters were there. Were they literally physically transported? Were they just mentally transported? But in an adventure, they both were able to, pop out, a mental construct of who they're used to adventuring with. And we got, and those things did exactly what those characters would do. It made perfect sense. And as Robin stated, it allowed the 2 of us to be a part of that session and be a part of that arc. I imagine there was probably a big back and forth that was glossed over about explaining what exactly happened. There was probably moments that I think Blue and Red would find touching, that the mental constructs that they created did the things that those people would do. That's got to be cool, that it's connected.
Yeah, I was thinking that same thing as you just said too. It's just like, well, they're pretty close, even though you face death with somebody, and like you said, I mean, we gloss over a lot of time. It's like, well, they're together for a lot of time, probably reflecting on like, wait, we almost died there and stuff, and you know people pretty well. So yeah, I thought that was cool too. That like to think of it that way, where like their image of those people is pretty close. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like TV shows and movies, there's a bunch that could be much better if they would explain less, right? Like sometimes they like really dive into minutia and they just kill the story instead of kind of letting the viewer imagine what could have been or did happen, or bringing it slowly throughout a season or the movie, or even a sequel.
Yeah.
And part of the problem is, the 5 of us, and basically anyone that's going to watch this is a person who enjoys story, enjoys role-playing games, and has an imagination. There are so many people out there who don't possess that gift that we have, and if you don't explain it, they're left with questions and it doesn't make sense. And it's sad. Like, that's one of the things that I consider probably one of my best attributes is my imagination. So I go into those kind of thoughts. I go into those kinds of things. And there are times that with stories and that kind of stuff, I'm like, nah, I don't think that worked out this. How about this instead? And it sounds better, and I enjoy the story more.
One of my favorite tropes is when you see the perception of other characters, regardless of what it is. Like I remember even She-Ra with that season where you got to see the episode where everybody has a different perspective and it's a different art style. That's one of my favorite things. And so being able to see like back in Those Bastards when we had the mirrors, that was probably my favorite session, was being able to explore what people were seeing in the mirrors. And in the mental episode, being able to see kind of how Greg and Goggles viewed Red and Blue was really telling. I think there's a lot to be said for a character's perception of things as opposed to reality, because that conveys so much more about the character than literally telling them about this sort of perception for like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to say something, Robin?
Oh, it's past.
Yeah, because to me, it's like I feel like sometimes the magic happens in the gaps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that's where.
That's what you wanted to say?
Well, okay, actually, it was something along the lines of that. Like, the human mind is the most powerful processor that you could have at your disposal, and if you give them a nudge, they have a tendency to take those things and just roll with them until they've got, like, more than that. Like, that's one of the best gifts that you have as a GM, is that you can give a couple of specific details, and then your players and, like, any viewers that you might have will just fill in the rest for you.
And logistically, it's like we got 2 hours, so there's that bit of shorthand where, to your point, Robin, like we're like relying on that because, like, you know what I'm talking about, like sort of thing. There's just that shorthand, like the players or people, just like Ted said, it's like, it's not that hard to fill in the gaps with your imagination. You get the idea.
Yeah, low-key, I got some vibes from Robin. In relation to the main character from Torchlighters when it came to Red. Like, I don't know if that was intentional or not. I don't know if that's just an archetype you enjoy, but that was definitely a vibe that I got.
It is.
I don't want to spoil anything about it.
It's
true, you can. Links in the description below.
Yeah.
It's good. Like, I've been reading it. It's good.
Awesome. So anything else from anybody before we head on out?
Just thanks to all the people that would show up every week too and follow along and like what we're doing.
Yeah, chat has been amazing. Like, I love just like being in chat and being like, oh yeah, this and seeing people's reactions in the moment as it happens. Like, that's super cool. I'm loving that.
I would say have a happy and safe New Year celebration. I look forward to coming back in the new year with all of these happy people, with me being in the hot seat, and I'm excited and I'm nervous at the same time. So
every GM is.
I just want to say we are 39 subs away from meeting all of our requirements for the second channel, and we got like 2 weeks to do it. So tell your friends.
Yeah, if you're watching this after the fact. Sub.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to do gameplays, but then also, like, most days we do an hour live chat with different guests from the RPG community. And it's just me and them babbling about whatever. Sometimes we talk about RPGs or our kids or a weird pet or whatever. Yeah, I have to confess, if they have a weird pet that shows up on the stream, then we're going to probably talk about that.
Sure.
I mean, we talk about games all the time, but how often do I get to talk to someone about their pigeon habit?
Yeah, right.
But with that, as always, thanks for hanging out with us and watching. Thank you, everyone, for playing in this game. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I had a blast running for you. And until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Getting good at